What's up, vinyl community? Jason, how's everyone doing? Sorry, just grab that real quick. Saturday evening. Shoot, I have some records. Been wanting to do recent finds. Some stuff's definitely been accumulating from all over the place, so time to do it. I'm going to Brazil in less than 2 weeks, so it's a good time to get these out of the way. So Vinyl Finds June 2022. This is what we're listening to. First off, this is Novi Midden. I don't even know how you say it, but it's by Julius Hierro, who is an Austrian DJ, and Antonio Nevis, which is a Brazilian multi-instrumentalist. I know he's proficient on the trombone and drums. It looks like he's playing a trumpet here. So there's a couple other cats on here. But yeah, it's just a fun record. Thought it'd be fun to play on a Saturday evening, you know. It's time to party. Time to party, just put the kids to sleep. Gonna rage it up in the garage by myself. So yeah. No, I'm not by myself, I'm with everybody here. The BC community is with me. So yeah. So that's what we're jamming right now. Yeah, that's a fun one. So yeah, that came out 2021, I think. Pretty recent. Kind of discovered the Brazilian player, and that's how I kind of got into that. I guess like, you know, sort of beat driven, jazzy kind of DJ stuff, which is cool. It's fun. Light, nothing too heavy, but there's some just, you know, good for parties, and we have people over. My wife loves it, so yeah. Anyways, so let's move on. Next one, another 10-inch. That was a 10-inch, obviously, as you can tell. There's another 10-inch Royal Pena. This was the first press. Finally got this one. This is now I have all their first four. They have two 10 inches and two 12 inches, and they had kind of like another one after, which is more like older B-side kind of, I don't know, home recording or something. But this is 181 out of 200. I don't know if you can see that. It's in gold. It's really hard to see. 181 out of 200. So yeah, I had mentioned these guys before. They do this cool thing. This is Finnish. I think it's Finnish. I don't know if they're Norwegian or Finnish. I think they're from Finland. Pretty sure. I always mix it up. They're Scandinavian. Royal Peno. They're spiritual jazz. I feel the two 7 inches. This one and the one after. 7-inch EPs. 7-inch, 10-inch EPs. A little bit more accessible. The third one is kind of like an improv, and it's kind of out there. And then the fourth one just came out last year. It's pretty good. It's not improv, but it's definitely free jazz. I mean, it's all free jazz. But this one's got like swinging. I don't know what's the instrument. They don't have the instruments on here. But yeah. But it's cool. Yeah, it's kind of a swinging, spiritual jazz kind of thing. It's, like I said, not too heavy. This is a fun one. So what they did is they took, I've never, like I said, this is the only group I've ever seen this, and this is the third one they've done. This is the first one, but they took like a record and they flipped it inside out and they printed on the outside. So they're like reusing record sleeves, environmentally friendly, I guess. But they screen print on the back, and everything's kind of faded, so that's whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, so it's cool though. It's unique. I definitely can't read all of it because it's faded, but it's a cool label. Yeah, stoked to get that. It was not cheap, but they actually popped up for like a decent price, cheaper than what they usually go for. So just kind of jumped on it. Now I have the first four. I like them. I really like them. Yeah, Royal Pena. Next one, kind of a similar vein, I would say. Alice Coltrane, Universal Consciousness. This is the original on Impulse. Yeah, I never got to an Alice Coltrane. I like that kind of music too. I don't know. I guess I don't sample enough old stuff online. I think this is the second album I have in my collection of her. I've gotten the one with Dev Dip or whatever, Carlos Santana, but I ended up getting rid of that one. Just wasn't into it. And the one I have, I'm just not really into that one either. I don't. I should have looked. I don't remember which one it is, but I don't know. I don't never listen to it. I'm not. But this one wasn't bad. This is. Yeah, it was a good listen. I got this from a record show here in San Clemente on Mother's Day. I kind of had to run some errands in the afternoon, and I jetted over to the local high school they were having, and it was ending like 2. I got there like 1. I dug through a couple vendors. There was some cool stuff, but nothing that really sparked my interest. This is probably the one I had the most interest in. I couldn't find anything else. I didn't want to walk away empty-handed, so I came back and I bought it. And there was like a little bit of something on the vinyl. I can't remember. It's like a little divot. It's not like a scratch. It almost looks like an imperfection, you know, from the actual just how it came originally. It has like a little divot. Yeah, I can see it now. So I was able to. The guy was talk him down a little bit. I was asking him, you know. So he gave me a little bit of a deal on it. It wasn't cheap, but it was kind of, I guess, less than what it usually goes for. So that was cool. But yeah, I like it. Spiritual jazz. You know, a little bit challenging at times, but this one's not too bad. Yeah, so stoked to get that. Add to the Alex Coltrane, and I know some people been selling a lot of their original jazz, like Alex. You know. And I've been trying to procure it. I try not to sell too much stuff. Some of the stuff I sold I regret. I mean now because the stuff is like double at least what I've sold it for. So I guess there's always that hindsight, right? I mean if it was cheaper, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just rebuy it for half of what I sold it for. But so is life. Next one, this is Antonio Nevis. This is the trombone player from the record we're listening to. Looks like he's got a drumstick in his hand, maybe. Or I thought it was a drumstick initially, but maybe it's something part of a brass instrument. I think it's a drumstick. This is sort of not. This is more. I mean, it's not any like beats. This is actually. This is a jazz group, but it is kind of upbeat samba based. Yeah, really good. This is the first album I listened to, and I kind of explored some of his other stuff, and then that's how I got to this record we're listening to. But yeah, really cool. This came out on Far Out, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, Far Out Records. I think they're based out of UK, but they've been putting out a lot of like newer Brazilian contemporary stuff. So Far Out, man. Yeah, just good, new, contemporary Brazilian. I like Brazilian jazz that has like a samba feel. I'm in. Next one, Dusty Springfield in Memphis. And this is the original in Atlantic. Pretty sure it's the original. This is her first recording with the Memphis Sound. If I'm not mistaken, Memphis Sound is from the Fame studio. I could be wrong, I'm not like an expert, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I had this on my shelf for, gosh, a long time. It's been at least over a year. I got it in a collection and it was kind of rough. And I just kind of shelved it and was gonna clean it and just kind of got stuck up there, you know, in this one of these piles somewhere. So I just got on a kick and I deep cleaned like a bunch of records. I had a pile, and so I like grabbed this one, threw it in the pile. I'm slowly trying to go through all these records. Most of these are kind of have a purpose for being up there. Either I'm selling them, or they need to be fixed or cleaned. But there's still a few leftovers, scragglers. Yeah, so this one, I mean, it was a little bit rough condition, but I deep cleaned it and it actually plays better than it looks, which is great. It's not like amazing copy or anything, but it's definitely a decent play copy. Yeah, I never see Dusty Springfield in the wild ever. This is like the first one I ever found. Of thousands of records I've come across. But maybe I have. I might have, and I don't know. I pretty much usually I look stuff up, and I try to listen to anything that seems interesting. So I can't imagine I passed this up. I mean, I got it and sold it. but maybe I did. I don't know. But this is cool. Yeah, I mean, this has Son of a Preacher Man on it, I believe. I don't know. I thought she wrote a lot of songs, and I'm looking that she actually looks like she actually, these are all covers, so interesting. I thought this has Son of a Preacher Man, written by Ronnie Wilkins. Some Randy Newman on here, some Carole King. That was a lot of Carole King. Interesting. But yeah, good, solid, kind of like soul music. Kind of like folky soul, I guess. I don't know. So stoked to have that. Anyways, move on. This is one I've been kind of on the hunt for a while, maybe over a year. I think it came out in 2020. This is the original Australian pressing. All Good News. Oh yeah, Surprise Chef is the name of the band, and All News is Good News is the name of the album. Their debut. I know it's the original because I guess the original, there was 2 pressings of it, or 2 runs, and one of them had this flyer. Just geeking out on vinyl stuff. So yeah, I love this record. It's like instrumental, like soul jazz or like jazz funk, I guess. But like a new contemporary. If you know Voodoo's Band, it's kind of like similar. It reminds me of Voodoo's Band a lot. I guess it was recorded in 19, but I think it came out in 20. But yeah, just really fun, kind of like jazz funk, sort of, but kind of like newer. Yeah, I love it. It's really good. It's another record you could throw on like at a party or something. It's kind of like jazzy, but got a nice groove. So stoked to finally get that one. This probably was on my top one of the top records I wanted for like newer records. So yeah, stoked to get that. I don't know why I won the original. I just did. And now I got it. This next few I got these from a garage sale. I might have showed 1 or 2 in my previous recent finds, but this is Judy Mawat. I think that's how. It's kind of weird font. I think it's Judy Mawat. This is the original black woman on Jamaican press. Let me flip the record. All right. So there's a guy that sells records. If you've seen my channel, I've mentioned him many times. He buys collections, and every 6 months he has a big sale in his garage, and he lives a few exits down, so I always go. Cool guy, local guy. He definitely was. I'm always competing with him, I don't really buy collections that much. I don't go out that much as I used to, but he kind of retired and is over it. And I don't think he's really buying collections anymore, like, unless people call him. So he's been like blowing stuff out. But this wasn't one of his sales. He had a sale a few months ago, but like maybe a month ago he had a garage sale. It was like a neighborhood garage sale. So I saw him post, and it was Record Store Day, which I don't really participate in Record Store Day. I don't really have a good record store close to my house, and there's nothing I ever want on it. There's like usually like one record I could get, and I've tried a couple times, and it's just a shit show, and it's just, I don't know, it stresses me out. So I went to his house instead, and I was the only one there. It was awesome. So he had like leftover stuff. He wasn't selling stuff for $1 like he did before, but yeah, I was flipping through, and he's like, oh, that's a good one, you should check it out. So it's like, it's reggae, nothing like mind-blowing. He's like, oh, it's kind of like bluesy reggae, which it sort of kind of is, but yeah, just really cool to get a Jamaican press. And my reggae section is pretty light, so it's always, you can't go wrong with throwing on some reggae like Saturday morning or something. This is another one I grabbed from him. This is McCoy Tyner, Sama Layuka. Yeah, McCoy Tyner for me, he's kind of like hit and miss. this is on Milestone, and Milestone usually does, and this was an interesting one. This is it's like an Italian press, I think. So yeah, I mean, I would have loved to get a U.S. press, but I mean, it was pretty. I think he was only selling for like $5 or something. But the lineup on this was killer. That's why I bought it. Hey, Milestone. I'm like, man, I should probably buy it. And then I saw the lineup. It's let's see. So you got McCoy Tyner on piano, Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, Gary Bartz on the sax, Zoe Lawrence on the sax, John Stubblefield oboe flute, Buster Williams on the bass, Billy Hart on the drums, Matume on conga, percussion, and Guillermo Franco on percussion. I mean, how could you pass that up? And this is out of all the records I'm going to show. This is probably the one I am least familiar with. I listened to it once and was like, yeah, I'm going to keep it, but I don't really remember. I think I listened to the first side, like half of it again a couple nights ago, and it was good. I mean, how could you go wrong with that lineup? It's like kind of like, you know, it's like more upbeat jazz. I don't call it like fusion, but it's more upbeat, fast-paced, and has a little bit avant-garde, but kind of like around the edges. It's not like full-on, which is kind of like, you know, I like jazz is a little bit different. So stuff like that is kind of right up my alley, where it's like kind of good jazz, but then it kind of goes on the fringes. I don't know why. I just like love that stuff. So yeah, super stoked to have this. Definitely need to listen to it again. This was the other one I got from him. This is Freddy Hubbard, Sing Me a Song of Sogmi, and composed and realized by Ilyan Mimaroglu. So yeah, it's a cool ass cover. Pablo Picasso, and this is a white label promo, and I don't know, yeah, for sure I was buying this. I saw it, Freddy Hubbard, and it was, yeah, all these records, these ones I got, they're all less than $10. I can't remember, one of them I paid like 10, the rest were like 5, but yeah, this is a weird ass record for sure. I mean, there's some moments, it's all over the place. It's like moments where it's like kind of like just normal jazz, like, oh, it's just jazz, Freddy Hubbard, just, you know, going at it. And then there's like spoken word, and then there's like there's one song on there where she's like talking about what was that famous murder in LA, like back in the 70s with Manson. Can't remember the name of that actress. Yeah, it's escaping me. But anyways, she's kind of like talking about that. Sharon Tate, it's the name of the song. Trinidad for Sharon Tate. I don't know, it's kind of spooky. Yeah, this is like kind of avant-garde, like it's kind of weird avant-garde. Some parts is just like normal jazz. It's just all over the place. But it's a pretty interesting record. Yeah, stoked to have it in the collection. Throw it on every once in a while. Maybe on Halloween, I want to freak myself out. Next one. This is one I just saw posted online. This is a Vametrio. I think it's a private press. They sell it on Bandcamp. You can still buy it on Bandcamp. I love the cover of it. So it's a 3-piece, French horn. As you can see, that dude playing French horn, bass and drums. And yeah, I really like this record. It's a 3-piece, so it has like a lot of space. You know, you can really hear each instrument. There's a couple songs where it's just kind of the French horn, you know, with some like birds and stuff, and then, but yeah, there's the bass. I really like the bass is kind of pulled forward. Was it this record? There was a record I was listening to yesterday where I think someone was playing with like a bow. It sounded like real like almost like a violin. I think it was this record. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But it's cool. The bass, I mean, and the drums is in the groove. The bass and drums it's just like a jam session. There's one song on here that's awesome. I think it's the single. I think there might be a 7-inch of it. Joe Bonner, and it's kicking, dude. It's really good. It's kind of like, I would say like soul jazz in some parts, but not kind of the Jimmy Smith kind of soul jazz, more of like the Cleveland Eaton, because it is bass heavy, and like Leroy Vinegar kind of like bass heavy, kind of soul jazz. Yeah, I really like this record. It's good. I've listened to it a few times, and there's one song. There's a section that starts to go in like almost like a rock, like, like the drummer's like rock, like almost like a rock drummer, just going. I don't know. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend checking it out. I think they only pressed 150, and they still have some for sale on Bandcamp. This is the same record. The dude had some limited edition, like 50 hand printed, all unique covers. So he was kind enough to send me one of those as well. So same record, but different covers. I'm a sucker for like hand done covers. I don't know. I just think it's really cool, unique. I mean, I really like. And this is kind of a trippy. If you saw a record from like this from like the 70s or something, you'd be like, what? What the fuck is that? Now we're gonna get in some heavy stuff. I got some pretty rare records. Been definitely spending too much money here. I need to hit the pause button, but I am going to Brazil, so I'm gonna try to dig there. But after that, I need to like really. I was doing pretty good, like buying locally for a while. But yeah, I keep forgetting, like Saturday mornings I need to like make the effort to kind of look for somewhere to go. I just haven't been. But I cleaned like most of the stuff, and I was trying to get stuff ready to sell at my friend's like art show, but that kind of fell through. So I was concentrating on like cleaning and pricing, and it was all for naught. But that stuff is all ready to roll. So now I can concentrate on like buying again. But anyways, so this one I never really thought I would own this. I do have the repress. This is Luis Essa y la Sagrada Familia, La Nueva Onda del Brasil. And it's in Spanish. This is Brazilian, but this was pressed in Mexico. So this record's like. Let me. Should I play this? I want to throw on another record because that one's done. I'm trying to think of what to play. I always play kind of weird music, so I should rock out with something. I got some Imaginario too. I've been wanting them. I really like that. But yeah, I'll throw this one on. So yeah, this is a fun record. If you like that kind of thing, yeah, my wife's all about it. So yeah, let's throw this in the front here. Whatever. Yeah. So this is. I guess I'll show you the label. I'll throw this on. And yeah, it's just I don't even know what the record. So this was pressed in Mexico. Yeah, this thing's super rare. I'll talk about it. And the record plays amazing, but there is a couple clicks like right in the first 30 seconds. You'll hear it, and it drives me crazy. But I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Other than that, it plays like dead quiet. Pretty much besides that. So this is Luis Essa. This record, I mean, besides being like fantastic musically, it's like historically like a pretty important record for Brazil. So Luis Essa, so here's the click. It drives me crazy. So it's like 10 rotations. That wasn't too bad. It's fun. So yeah, Luis Essa produced. Luis Essa from like Tamba Trio, Tamba 4 fame, which is like he's like a jazz pianist. So he put together a group of people, and you got Joycey on here, you got Nelson Angelo, you have Nana Vasconcelos, I think Wilson Seminole on a track. So I guess the story is Luis Essa went to Mexico, took this group of people, and it was like a showcase of like what's kind of like going on in Brazil musically. So they were like, I guess they were staying in a hotel in Mexico, and were just like putting on shows. I don't know if they were just traveling around. I kind of read it was more kind of like a circus vibe, sort of. Just yeah. So I think they were only down there for a couple months. And so, yeah, I'm kind of defer to the repress I bought of this is on Lazarus Audio, and I kind of when I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago, I was emailing back and forth with the guy, and there isn't one American in here. He's Bill Vogel. He plays trumpet, and so the guy from Lazarus, he said that he got the permission. I don't know if he got the master tapes from Bill Vogel, but the permission to repress. And so if you go on eBay and you look for this record, he has like a big story about it. And he was so pumped when I was like emailing him back and forth about it. But apparently they only pressed 200 copies of these, and they weren't really to sell. It was more for like family and friends. And on Discogs it says 1970, which is I believe when it was recorded, but per that guy Lazarus, they didn't press until 78. So it just seems kind of weird to me that they would press it 8 years later and just give it out to family and friends. But I don't know, it is what it is. I kind of take, he's probably, since he's talking with the trumpet player, he's probably more in the know than just people who are guessing. But yeah, so they were just kind of showcasing Brazilian music. He took some like top musicians from Brazil, and they were just kind of displaying in Mexico, like this is the kind of music that's coming out in Brazil. And why this music, I mean, besides that being historically important, I'm like, one of my favorite records is Nelson Angelo, which I think I showed in my last recent finds video. So this is kind of like the missing link. I should have checked on Discogs, but I believe this is Nelson Angelo's first credits as arranger. So I should have double checked. I thought about it, but I did not double check that. But I'm pretty sure. So he did some stuff. Nelson Angelo did some stuff with Joycey, her second album, and Luis Essa produced that and kind of did all the arrangements for Joycey's second album. I can't remember the name. It's a cool cover. It's just like her. It's got like this. She's got this cool glow. Anyway, so that was like the first I know of Nelson Angelo like writing songs. I don't think he did any arranging anything on that album. And then after that came this, and I believe soon after this is Joycey and Nelson Angelo got married. So it's kind of the missing link. And then they went back to Brazil and started O Tribu, which they only did a handful of songs, but they got on that Pasicoas comp, which is like a Brazilian psych comp. Like, it's probably the most famous psychedelic comp from Brazil. And then they went on to, after that, they went on to do, and then Nana Vasconcelos is in that, and with Nelson Angelo and Joycey, and then they went on to do Joycey Nelson. So, and Joycey Nelson is like probably, it's one of my favorite Brazilian records, but it's probably top 5, I would say, of like classic, hard to procure, like Arthur Versailles, Krishnanda. You have Lulu Cortes, Paibaru, I don't know how to say it. And then maybe his other one too, Lulu Cortes, is the Satwa, and then probably the 5th is Joycey Nelson. It's like super rare and kind of like psych folk. So yeah, I think this is an important record because it is kind of, it bridges that gap between like Joycey and then like Nelson starting to produce, and yeah, and it's like you can hear it's pretty cool. I would say the one song that stuck out to me, which I think is it's the last song, last track, so we probably won't get to it, but it's called Please Garçon, which it sounds like it came from Joycey Nelson, so you can kind of, this is like things to come. Yeah, so super stoked. I can't believe I finally have this. I never thought I would. I mean, I've seen it for sale only in the last 5 years, maybe 3 times, and the first time I saw it for sale, it was like, the guy wanted like $1,500 for it, which was like, hell no. And I got this for a pretty decent price. I mean, I paid a lot for it, but it was nowhere near what that one was selling for it. So I kind of got it a little bit under market, kind of dealt direct with the guy. I think he's a store in Mexico. So yeah, I was kind of dealt with him on Instagram. So I have a little bit of a connection now in Mexico. I mean, actually the next record he also sold me, but there's not a lot of music I know from Mexico. But yeah, so I just can't believe I had this. Insane, 200 copies apparently, and I never see it for sale. So yeah, it's just a piece of history. So this is never leaving the collection. And it's a beautiful record. I mean, it's kind of like jazz, but has a little bit of kind of psych elements, like psyche folk, jazz mixed. And there's a couple. It's like half covers, half originals. It's dope album. The next song is País Tropical, which is Georgia Bain, like one of his biggest hits. I do a good version of it. Sorry, this is running a little bit long. Next one is. This is shit. What was his name? This is a crazy record. This is a Mexican jazz record. I had no idea, but I was talking with the seller of the Luis Essa record. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm looking for like any kind of cool jazz from Mexico, and he sent me a couple, and he said, you know, this record, and I was like, wow, this is cool. But he's like, yeah, I've seen it a couple times. You don't have any. And then like a week later, he put one for sale. I was like, I thought you just had any. He said, oh yeah, you know what? This was from my collection, and I just thought it was time to give it up. What's the guy's name? It's Tino Carrera. Is that his name? So this is the original press. I think this was just pressed. This is Centro de la Cultura Pre-Americana AC. I guess that's the name. Oh, can't see. It's the name of the label. I think it's like a culture of Mexico kind of thing. So this is the original press. I think there was the back cover is trip, dude. And I believe it just was repressed. I think it was Gilles Peterson just put out on his label. And this is an EP. It's 3 songs. It's real short. Tino Contreras. So it came with. I mean, it's hard to tell stuff like this is original or not, but it's just kind of a print of the musicians and some of the stuff on the songs. So Tino Contreras. I think he plays harp, which is arpas, which I believe is harp. I don't know if it's in Spanish. Quinto son música infinita. On here it says. Yeah, I think the names of the songs are Hombre Cosmico, Orbita 13, and I forget the last one. So this is, it's from '78. It's kind of like I don't know, experimental a little bit. The harps are. It kind of sounds like it's a jazz record from like the '80s. It has like the production, it seems a little bit more like raw, or like almost like it's an 80s kind of jazz album, where you kind of have like the bass, which is a little bit, it's like heavy. I mean, it's like it kind of stands out on its own, but it's I don't know, it just has like an 80s sound to it. But there's like some really cool riffs on the piano, and they have like an operatic singer on here at times, but the harp has this like crazy. It's almost like the dude took like the inside of the piano and like bang bang, like it's crazy. It's definitely experimental, but I think that gives it the harps. I think it's the harp gives it the experimental side of it, because the rest of it just sounds like a pretty good like private press 80s jazz record. But that part that's the experimental, where it's just kind of weirdness on the harp. This is really good. And this, so on Discogs, there's 2 from '78. One has a green cover, one has a blue cover. And so the guy said he's found this record like 4 or 5 times over his life. Him and his dad. I guess his dad's been a record dealer for like 45 years, he said, and he's only once ever seen the blue cover. He's had the green cover a few times, obviously sold them, so he kept this one in his collection. I don't know why he decided to sell it, but he did. But yeah, if you look on Discogs, nobody owns this. There's only a few people that want it, but more people want the other one, but there's 0 people that actually have this record in their collection. So I don't know. He said he didn't know if it's like a repress or rerun, second run. This is like the OG. He had no idea. But I got it for a pretty sweet price. I couldn't pass it up, especially because I was dealing with him straight on Instagram. So, he was willing to go down on the price because he didn't have to pay all the fees and stuff. And he said I was already a client because I bought other record. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, I just literally discovered this like a month ago. I definitely paid a lot of money for it, for something that, but it's really good. My only thing I don't like about it is that it's short. It's only 3 songs. It's like 20 minutes. Yeah, but really cool, and the cover's amazing. And he actually did a record. I think it came out in 2020. Covers, shit. Tino Contreras. He did a record. I think it came out in 2020, and it was a live album. I think he passed away. I think in 20 or 21, and that's also really good. It kind of has a little bit elements of that. He had some stuff after, and it's kind of, there's not a lot on to stream, so it's hard to tell. But one of his other records goes for a lot of money, so but I can't listen to it. I don't know. I mean, there's just nowhere to stream it, so I don't know. I'm sure, but the stuff before this I listened to, and it wasn't too out there, so I think he definitely took a turn. But yeah, the one he did in 2020, you could, there's a picture of him. He's like, he looks old and like frail, but he's still, the music was awesome. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to pick that one up. And it's super cheap. It's like 15, 20 bucks. Anyway, so this last batch is all from Brazil. My mother-in-law is here. She came back from Brazil. I ship records to her house while she's there to save on shipping, especially when I'm just buying one record at a time. If I can't double up, triple up. So the first one is called Imaginario. Matanza do Porco. This is their third album, third and final. And this is like it's on that Odeon with the green dot, and it has the inserts. So this is like, an excellent copy. I don't know if they call it near mids, but yeah, it's just super clean. With the, I always get hesitant on these like little things. They're like just printouts. So it's like, is this really that? So, but yeah, with the booklet or whatever. Yeah, the third one is the last one I needed. I still have one in Brazil. But I'm going in a couple weeks, 10 days. I think I'm going to Brazil, so I'm gonna grab it when I'm there. So I'll have all 3. I can't believe I have all 3. It took me years. But yeah, so stoked. This is like I've heard people say that their first one is more psych and their last one's more prog, so they kind of transitioned to prog. I don't know, maybe, yeah, it has prog elements, definitely trippy, psych, kind of hard. I don't call it hard rock, but it's definitely like a rock record with jazz elements, almost like a fusion with like psych leanings. Yeah, and proggy progressions. So yeah, still super dope record. Finally have that one. This is Jorge Ben, A Banda do Pretinho. And this is one wasn't really looking. I have only missing 2 Jorge Bens to get the originals of the ones I want through like his first album till like 76, like every single studio album. And this came out just after the one, Africa Brazil, which is for me like the climax. And this one came out after. So my mother-in-law got it for like $10. So she asked if I wanted to buy it, and I'm like, hell yeah. Original, can't go wrong with Jorge Ben. Rodrigo Campos. This is Seu Mateus, né? Lugar assim tão longe. And this is on Patua Discos. Rodrigo Campos. Contemporary Brazilian. He's part of like the Samba Suja movement. But he's a little bit more straight ahead samba, good songwriter, like good arrangements. I think this was an earlier one of his albums, even though it was just dropped on vinyl. I think it came out like 2012 or something, so this is like a newer re-release. This might be like his 5th album on vinyl, but it's probably the earliest one that he wrote that's on vinyl. Part of Passo Torto, of him, Kiko Danucci, and Romulo Froes, and this is either in the middle of that or after that, I can't quite remember, but yeah, really good songwriting, contemporary samba, indie samba, if you like that kind of stuff, with like cool arrangements. This one I was really excited to get. William Senna, Canto de Tempo, and this is a private press, 1978. I don't remember where he's from. I want to say he's from like, I don't know if he's from Brasilia or he's from North. I don't know, but this is really good, and it's just like him, and there's one other person on here, a girl that's like sings and plays like light percussion. Yeah, this is look at but he's like, it's kind of like he's a very intricate guitar player, almost like classical leaning sort of. He had his second album, I think, is more like classical leaning, and that one's from '84 on Egberto Gismonte Quinto Carmo label. But yeah, I was really excited to get this one. It's cool. It's got, I don't want to say it sounds like Nick Drake, but it kind of has like an emotional. I mean, it's just like a lot of times just him and an acoustic guitar, and he's got like a lot of reverb, and it's kind of like, you know, there's like birds. It's just kind of like he has a lot of emotion in the way he plays, even though a lot of it's like picking. And it has like a lot of the typical like backup vocal Brazilian. It's just really good. It's a really good record. I think it's a little bit slept on. It's not cheap, but if not a lot of people are looking for it, so if you kind of wait, you can probably get one for a decent price. I pulled the trigger on one that was like, it's not near mint, but the guy said it was like excellent, and it plays fantastic. Besides the stickers, which I probably could try to take off, they're super old. It's fantastic, the cover. Yeah, so really, really excited to get that. Private press in Brazil, not a lot of people like into it, and I really enjoy it, so I love getting stuff like that. This is Classic Os Mutantes, original on Polydor. I bought this thing like 2 years ago, pre-pandemic. One of the record labels that I like, Oma Gringa, they had an original. It was VG, but I was hoping that they would, you know, being a record label, that they would maybe be like conservative, like it's a strong VG, but it's a VG. It plays pretty good. It's a decent play copy. Obviously now I wish I would have bought a better copy because this record has skyrocketed. I mean, it was expensive when I bought this. I paid $100 for like a VG copy, hoping that it was like a, you know, almost a VG plus. But yeah, and the cover's got some issues. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, this thing, it comes off, so I don't know what's the deal here, but yeah, I definitely need a different copy at some point. But yeah, I mean, this is classic, good play copy. What can you say? Original Os Mutantes, crazy. If you don't know what's going on, this is a classic. Like, they were like definitely heavily influenced by the Beatles, but it's got a lot of cool like psych elements, and it's like kind of skitty, you know. Say skitty is like they got a lot of like skits in there between the songs, and fun, fuzzy, you know, I think it's 69 or 70. You know, they would play with Jorge Ben, Gilberto Gil. They were part of the Tropicalia. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure a lot of people, if you know any Brazilian music, I mean, these guys are probably one of the most well-known. Their third album is amazing too, and I've been trying to get that one forever as well. So this is the first one I have of theirs, the original. Yeah. And last but not least, yeah, sorry for the long video, but this is Orchestra Afro Sinfonica, or in a Língua dos Anos, I think Language of the Years. This is on Tres Celos. Yeah, I love the Tres Celos stuff. I mean, I was a member for 2 years. It's a record club, but my contact, the one I get all the most of the Brazilian records I like, the newer stuff, he was part of the label, and then he's not anymore, so I stopped. I unsubscribed, but they still put out a couple good ones a year, and this is one of them. It's a cool cover. Yeah, big band, like from Bahia. I think they're from Bahia. They have that Bahian sound with a lot of like percussion, and it has that heavy Bahian kind of vibe to it, but it's like big band sounding. Yeah, it's nothing like heavy. It's just a great record. So stoked to get that. This is a long video. I apologize. The record's done, so good time to call it quits. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Stoked to get, I mean, there's some heavy pieces in here that I just, yeah, big additions to the collection. Some stuff that's just super rare, but stoked to have it. And hopefully, I'm gonna try to do a video in Brazil if I can. We'll see. I'm going to meet a guy down there who, if you guys probably, if you like Brazilian records, follow on Instagram. Croco Discos, he's pretty, a lot of people get good records from him. I'm gonna try to meet up with him. So yeah, and I'm gonna try to get a dig. Someone hopefully got a connection to dig at some dude's house that from a Brazilian DJ hooking me up with a connection he used to have. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try to take some videos if I can. If not, I will just hopefully show at least grab a couple records. But anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. Cheers. Peace.